Okay, let's unpack this. We've all felt that dizzying, relentless pace of new tech.
Right. Absolutely.
The moment you feel like you've maybe finally graphed one thing, then suddenly there are 3 new ones, just completely changing everything.
It's like trying to drink from a fire hose that keeps upgrading itself while you're drinking.
Exactly. But imagine if your job, your whole focus, was not just keeping up, but actively sorting through maybe 40 to 50 deeply technical articles every single week, just to stay on the bleeding edge of one specific field.
Whew.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what Charlene Gilman is doing. She's the CEO and founder of Black Diamonds Evolve, and she's doing this for the AEC Industry Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. And her insights on how to navigate this AI explosion, they're not just interesting, they're really, really practical. So today, that's our deep dive, uncovering her unique perspective on finding your footing, thriving in this super dynamic AI world, especially within AEC.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is how Charlene's experience, it really highlights not just the breakneck speed of AI development itself, but also that very human challenge, right? How do we adapt? How do organizations adapt?
Right.
And our deep dive, it pulls straight from her personal weekly digest. She's meticulously synthesizing info from all these top sources.
You're not just random blogs.
No, we're talking deep reports from the World Economic Forum, cutting-edge stuff from generative AI forums, specialized insights from various AI agents hubs.
Okay, maybe explain AI agents hubs quickly.
Oh, sure. Think of them as marketplaces or communities. They're focused on these autonomous AI programs designed for really specific tasks, like little intelligent software robots for particular jobs. Super relevant for complex AEC workflows,
Gotcha. Specialized AI bots.
Exactly. So this deep dive, we're really going to explore how one expert manages what could just be crippling information overload and, crucially, how she turns it into something actionable. Actionable understanding, not just for her, but, potentially for you listening too.
And when you say information overload, I mean, Charlene is not exaggerating. She paints this really vivid picture. She talks about getting 40 to 50 news articles a week, and she's quick to say, look, that's not even the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
And it's not just general news, right? It's specific technical updates about AI getting plugged into complex AEC processes.
Yeah.
She says AI is literally bursting through the seams, like this explosive growth.
Bursting through the seams. I like that description.
Yeah. And she talks about how fast things change. She observed that when there's an article that comes out 5 minutes later, there could be another article that says there's a whole new set of platforms.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Think about that. The tools you're just reading about might be old news before you finish the article.
Yeah.
It's dizzying.
It really is.
So when you're facing that kind of, flood, how does someone like Charlene even begin to figure out what's actually valuable? What's signal and what's just noise?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Connecting this to the bigger picture, how do you discern what's truly valuable, what's applicable in that torrent of data? Especially when the stakes are high, like in AEC.
Right. Big projects, big money, safety.
Exactly. Huge long-term projects, massive capital, safety is paramount. So distinguishing real innovation from just, the latest shiny object is absolutely critical. Her method, this personal synthesis, it's not just passive reading. It's active. It's critical.
Okay. So what does that look like?
Well, she's not just consuming info, she's connecting the dots, seeing patterns. Like maybe she notices how a certain type of generative AI, maybe first used for architectural concepts, is now being tweaked for, say, structural analysis to cut down material waste.
Ah, interesting. Cross-application.
Precisely. Or maybe she sees a link between a new sensor technology and some machine learning algorithms that can predict project delays using real-time site data, that kind of thing. She's pulling these disparate threads together.
So she's building the context herself.
Yes. That's what lets her make sense of the chaos and pull out insights that are actually useful and relevant for AEC, not just, passing trends.
It makes sense. It's moving beyond just reading to actively applying and connecting.
Yeah.
Now, amidst all this information, Charlene hears a lot of the same questions, right? Especially from colleagues, clients in AEC. Everyone's asking, what do I use? How do I even get started? What's the best platform for me? And the big one, is it ChatGPT or is it something else?
The classic question.
Yeah, questions I've definitely asked myself. And it's so easy to feel like maybe everyone else has figured out some secret sauce they're not sharing.
Right. That feeling of missing out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Charlene points this out. She says everybody's trying to be hush-hush behind the scenes as far as what they're using, thinking that they've got the secret sauce or magic. Like there's this competitive edge in keeping your tools a secret.
And that idea, while maybe understandable in a competitive field like AEC, it can actually slow things down, right? It raises this important question about, well, competition versus knowledge sharing when tech is moving this fast.
How so?
Well, Charlene really pushes back against this idea that there's one single best way or some secret sauce tool. She implies that this whole hush-hush thing, it's kind of counterproductive.
Okay.
Think about it. If every firm, every company is guarding its little secret weapon, the whole industry learns slower. Innovation often comes from sharing, from building on each other's discoveries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like open source, but for workflows.
Sort of, yeah. Imagine if architects never shared generative design techniques or construction companies kept quiet about how they use AI for predicting maintenance needs. The collective progress on big AEC challenges like supply chains or scheduling complex projects, it would just stall.
So keeping secrets might actually hurt everyone in the long run.
It could, yeah. And her perspective is really vital, especially for people just starting out with AI in this space. It sort of demystifies the whole thing. It encourages you to explore, experiment, rather than frantically searching for some hidden answer that, probably doesn't even exist.
Okay, so what does this mean for you? For anyone listening who's thinking about using AI, maybe an architect looking at design tools, an engineer at analysis, a project manager at logistics.
What's a practical takeaway?
Yeah. Charlene's core idea here is actually really liberating. She basically says, you can find what works for you. Simple as that.
Find your way.
Exactly. And she uses this great analogy. She compares it to becoming a master chef.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. A chef doesn't just pick the best single ingredient or the best cookie method and use only that forever. No, they constantly experiment. New techniques, new flavors, adapting recipes based on who they're cooking for, what dish they're making, what's available.
Context matters.
Totally. There's no single best recipe for every meal. It's about mastering the process of creation, the experimentation.
That frames it really well. And it emphasizes that iterative learning, that personal agency. It's not about finding the single perfect tool, because that probably changes next week anyway. It's about embracing the process of discovery, finding what's effective for you right now.
Right.
Charlene reinforces this. She says figuring out what AI to use is kind of like asking the person, well, how do you use the internet?
Yeah, good point.
You don't ask that, right? You just kind of go out there and figure out what you want to use, what you can pull from. It encourages you to think critically. How does this tool fit into my specific workflow? Not just, is it the best tool overall?
So it's about alignment.
Yes, aligning the tools with your needs, your context. She talks about figuring out what works for your business setup, what works for your style. So for an architect, maybe it's an AI that plugs perfectly into Revit for BIM and generative design. For a construction company, maybe it's a specialized machine learning platform for predicting equipment failures or optimizing material deliveries. It's about how it enhances your specific job, not just its features on paper.
So the message is,
Yeah.
ditch the hunt for the magic bullet. Start experimenting. Tailor it to your reality. But here's the thing. With everything changing so fast, how do you make sure that what works today isn't obsolete tomorrow? It feels like you could build this whole AI setup, and then suddenly it's a moving target.
It absolutely is a moving target. And that's a really crucial insight Charlene shares. She's very clear. AI tools, your preferences, they are not static.
Okay.
She gives this really compelling personal example. The platform she was using for her AI work back in, say, 2020, she says they're nowhere near what she's using today, 5 years later.
Wow. Big shift.
Huge shift. It's going to shift and change, she says. And that constant evolution, it's just part of the deal with AI. It's driven by new research, open source models popping up, market demands changing, big companies buying smaller ones, all of it.
So for someone in AEC, that AI tool you love for analyzing drone site photos.
Exactly. It might be replaced by something better next year. Or maybe it gets absorbed into a bigger, more comprehensive platform.
So you can't get too attached.
Well, maybe not rigidly attached. Charlene's approach suggests this continuous process of, reevaluation. Always asking, is this tool still the most efficient? Is it playing nicely with my other systems? Are there new features emerging that could save more time or give my clients better results?
Staying agile, staying curious.
That's it. Always looking for that next little bit of efficiency, that next insight.
That's really insightful. It implies that the real expertise isn't about mastering one specific tool that might disappear, but mastering the process of adapting, of discovering what works now.
Yes.
So for you listening, it really is a powerful idea. Don't wait for the perfect tool. Don't worry about the secret sauce someone else might have. Just start exploring. Start experimenting. Embrace the change.
Find your rhythm.
Yeah. Find your rhythm in this AI dance and be ready to adjust your steps because the music is going to change. The beauty, as Charlene puts it, is right there in the constant discovery, that ongoing journey of finding what genuinely works for your style, your business, your specific challenges in your industry.
Which really brings us to a final, maybe more provocative question, doesn't it? If the tools are constantly changing, the information is exploding, even what's possible is shifting, how does that change what it even means to be an expert in a field like AEC?
Good question.
Is it about mastering one piece of software, one specific AI model? Or is true expertise becoming more about mastering that process, the process of adaptation, of continuous learning, of intelligent discovery?
Knowing how to learn, not just what you know right now.
Exactly. Charlene's approach seems to suggest that in this age of AI, real mastery might be less about having all the answers memorized and more about knowing how to effectively find them, how to critically apply them, and crucially, how to adapt when the questions themselves change.
So the thought for you, listener, is how might you start applying that approach? Charlene's approach of personal discovery, constant adaptation. Not just with AI, but maybe in any fast-moving part of your work or life. How can you lean into that change, thrive in it, rather than just feeling overwhelmed?